The trick to moving on from an avoidant or emotionally unavailable person is to understand how boring their behavior is. Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to my channel. I'm a certified attachment style coach and I help anxious attachers break the cycle of avoidant and emotionally unavailable partners so you can really thrive in your independence and prevent future heartbreak. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why anxious attachers find avoidant attachers or emotionally unavailable people attractive and how to stop, so that you can actually have the secure, loving relationship that you really are looking for, that you crave and that you deserve. But before I start, I just want to let you all know that I have a brand new website online now. The link is in my bio. I also have a 6-week self-study course, which is really the blueprint of how I changed my attachment style from anxious to secure. That's over in my bio as well, but let's get into it. So if you have been in a relationship with an avoidant, maybe you've just come out of it, maybe you're in the throes of a breakup, and for whatever reason, you can't stop focusing on that person. You keep on wondering what that person's thinking, and maybe it's got to the point where it's engulfing, where you can't literally think about anything else. Maybe it's turning into obsession, where you can't stop checking the phone all the time and you're constantly wondering what they're doing. Maybe you're sending this person walls of text trying to convince them to be with you. And there's no judgment here, guys, because I have done all of those things and I can tell you that it didn't work. So what I want to do in this video is explain why this is happening, because a lot of people that I speak to, a lot of clients that I speak to, are in this very same cycle that can't get out of it, but also they hate being in it at the same time. They just don't know how to actually break themselves out of it. And the simple answer is that you have grown accustomed to breadcrumbing. You've become accustomed to inconsistent communication. You have become accustomed to your needs coming last. And yes, this does come from childhood, you guys, as most things do. But for the purposes of this video, I don't want to go into the inner child part because I want to leave that for another video later on this week. I'll go into the link between the inner child and your attachment style and what's happening now to give you a really good picture, idea of where these things come from. But what's happening now is that you are accustomed to breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing's normal, inconsistency is normal to you. It is a subconscious baseline. So I'm going to give you a quick story of how this played out in my own life. So I was with a dismissive avoidant partner on and off again for 7 years, and particularly towards the beginning of the relationship, if he ended the relationship, my gosh, I spiraled, you guys. I wouldn't eat properly, I stopped looking after myself, I shirked all my responsibilities, and I just could not stop thinking about this person. And even though I felt super uncomfortable doing it, I couldn't understand why I was like this over another person. But really and truly, I'd become emotionally reliant on that person. And bearing in mind, I met them while I was fresh out of a divorce. My self-esteem wasn't as good as it could have been. And I really did get drawn in with this person. And it was great at the beginning. I thought, right, this is really good. I've met my soulmate. Until there was expectations on the relationship. And then he started to emotionally distance and in the end the relationship. And this happened, this cycle happened more times than I can count. But I would constantly be checking the phone. I would constantly be seeing if this person texts me, wondering what they're thinking, wondering what they're doing. Are they going to get back together? And are they going to get back together with me? And it drove me completely insane. And it wasn't until later on, and when we broke up for good this time, that I really started to pull myself out of that, realizing that this is just a familiar pattern. I was used to that sort of behavior. I was used to intermittent reinforcement. I was used to inconsistency. And to me, that's what love looked like, because that was what was modeled to me when I was younger. I learned that I had to work hard for love, and I didn't see this breakup as an opportunity to work on myself. I saw it as an opportunity to try harder, which is what a lot of anxious attachers do. You want to try harder, you want to try and convince the person, you want to try and love them more so that you can get the love back. And all you're doing is you're telling yourself subconsciously that I'm not worthy of love, that I'm not worthy of at least of consistent love. And you get yourself stuck in this cycle in one relationship where it's on and off again, or several relationships where this pattern is so familiar to you, you're almost drawn to it. And we want to try and break that. But the example I wanted to share is that when I started dating again, I was having a conversation with somebody that was fairly secure, that was fairly consistent, and that was fairly consistent in their communication, that was clear in their communication. There was no reading between the lines, there was no guessing games. And I found that so unattractive, you guys. That I mean, I'm laughing now, but at the time I was just like, oh no, that's a huge turn off. And I realized right then that I'd become so accustomed to avoidant love, because that was what was modeled to me as a child, that I didn't find secure love very attractive at all, because it wasn't chaotic. I wasn't playing guessing games. He was really clear, and he was really clear and concise in what he was saying. But I observed myself in that moment thinking, why don't I find that attractive? And the reason was simply because I wasn't used to it. It wasn't part of my subconscious programming. So my mind was telling me that's not love. Love's chaotic. Love's up and down. Love's on and off. Love's intermittent reinforcement. Love isn't consistency. Love isn't peace. So I really had to work on that, so that I would be able to identify very early on whether somebody was emotionally mature or not. So what that took was me working through all of that, working through letting go, and finding the avoidance behavior so boring to the point where it just gave me the ick. Like I wasn't interested in that anymore. And yes, you should find it boring, because it is boring. How boring is it chasing somebody who is emotionally unavailable? How boring is it receiving breadcrumbs when you can go into a relationship with somebody that is consistent, where you don't have to work hard? How nice is that? So the next time you get a text from your avoidant ex, you're not going to feel that pull anymore. You're not going to feel like you're going to feel like, yeah, I don't want that. And it all boils down to identifying the behaviours that before would have triggered you into chasing, triggered you into trying to convince, trying to work harder, trying to love more, and pulling yourself out of the situation and seeing it as, this is boring. This is not going to meet my needs. In fact, it's doing the opposite. This is not going to satisfy me. It might do temporarily, but it's not going to bring me lasting happiness. And the more that you can do that, and the more that I did that, actually secure people started to become really attractive to me, because not only had I done the work, not only had I identified where I was enabling that behavior, where I was actively contributing to that pattern and broke it, but I also looked at their behavior and sort of started to see it as quite childish, not very mature, and before long it was so unattractive. And not only will you be able to spot it from a mile off next time, you're actually going to be able to feel safe and secure with another secure person, where their method of communication and their method of showing and receiving love is so different, but it's a good different. It's an attractive different. So I hope that all makes sense, you guys. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you have any stories you want to share, drop them in the comment box below. But I'm Amy, and it's an absolute pleasure to help you improve your self-worth. And thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.